The rain hammered the tin roof of the old lobster shack like gunfire from a forgotten war. But it was Tyler's voice that shattered Noah first. "You think you can just walk away from me, you little faggot? He'll teach you a lesson you'll never forget," he snarled, his fist connecting with Noah's jaw in a crack that echoed louder than the storm outside. Noah tasted blood and salt, the world tilting as he hit the splintered wooden floor, realizing in that blurred instant that the man Head loved for 2 years had become the monster Head always feared. Haven Point, Maine, clung to the jagged edge of the Atlantic like a secret no one wanted to keep. It was the kind of town where lobster boats bobbed in fog-shrouded harbors at dawn, and everyone knew your business before you did. Noah Harlan had grown up here, son of a widowed fisherman whose calloused hands had taught him to mend nets and mend hearts in equal measure. At 28, Noah ran the local bookstore on Elm Street, a cozy nook called Harborside Pages, shelves groaning under dog-eared paperbacks and the faint scent of sea air seeping through cracked windows. He loved the quiet rhythm of it, the way customers lingered over coffee-stained armchairs, sharing stories that felt like lifelines. Tyler Voss had blown into Noah's life 3 summers ago, a transplant from Portland with city polish and a smile that could disarm a storm. Head bought the old Voss family estate up on Ridge Hill, claiming roots he barely had, and turned it into a craft brewery that drew tourists like moths to a bonfire. First, it was electric. Tyler, with his broad shoulders and easy laugh, whispering promises in the dark of Noah's attic apartment. They'd steal weekends hiking the coastal trails, hands brushing like accidental sparks. But Tyler carried shadows, old wounds from a father who called him weak and a mother who prayed them away. Those shadows grew teeth over time, turning affection into ownership. The fight that night wasn't the first, but it was the breaking point. It started over nothing, a late text from an old college friend, harmless and half-forgotten. Tyler had seen it on Noah's phone, his face twisting into that familiar mask of rage. "You're mine," Head growled earlier that evening, pinning Noah against the kitchen counter. But Noah had pushed back, whispering, "I'm not a thing to own." The words hung there, fragile as sea glass, until Tyler stormed out to the shack to drown his fury in whiskey. Noah lay on the floor now, cheek pressed to the cold planks, the rain a relentless drumbeat overhead. His jaw throbbed, a purple bloom already forming, but it was the emptiness in his chest that hurt worst. Head loved Tyler fiercely, foolishly, ignoring the red flags, the jealous rants, the grip that bruised more than skin. Haven Point was small. Word would spread by morning. Folks at the diner would whisper. Old man Harlan would shake his head in quiet shame. Noah pushed himself up, spitting blood into a rag, and grabbed his keys. He wouldn't call the cops, not yet. Instead, head drive, let the coastal road swallow him whole. The Voss estate loomed on Ridge Hill like a Gothic postcard, all weathered clapboard and gabled roofs, the brewery lights flickering like distant stars. Tyler had inherited it from his late father, but the real heir to its ghosts was Elijah, Tyler's stepbrother. Elijah Kane, 10 years Tyler's senior at 38, had shown up 5 years back after their parents' messy divorce and remarriage, a whirlwind union that bound 2 fractured families with paper promises. Elijah was the quiet one, the artist who painted seascapes in the attic studio, his canvases alive with the fury of waves no one else saw. Had been the buffer between Tyler and the world, the one who smoothed edges with a steady hand and eyes like smoked quartz. Noah had met Elijah only in passing family barbecues on the bluff, awkward silences broken by Elijah's dry wit. There was something in those encounters, a flicker Noah couldn't name, like sunlight piercing fog. Elijah never judged, never pried, but his gaze lingered a beat too long, warm and assessing. Now, as Noah's truck rattled up the gravel drive, headlights cutting through the downpour, he didn't know why He'd come here. Refuge, maybe, or spite. The front door creaked open before he could knock, Elijah silhouetted in the warm glow of the foyer lamp. "Noah," he said, voice low and even like He'd been expecting ghosts. "What the hell happened?" It wasn't a question. Noah stepped inside, dripping rainwater onto the Persian rug, words tumbling out in a rush. Tyler, he hit me. Said he'd teach me a lesson. I couldn't stay there. Elijah's face hardened, lines etching deeper around his mouth. He guided Noah to the kitchen, a vast room of copper pots and herb-scented air, pressing a cold pack to his swelling jaw. Sit, he murmured, pulling out a stool. It'll get you something stronger than ice. As Elijah poured bourbon into mismatched glasses, Noah studied him. Elijah was built like the sea solid, unyielding, with salt and pepper hair cropped close and forearms roped from years hauling canvases and kayaks. He'd come from Seattle originally, a city boy adrift after his mother's death, stepping into this role of reluctant patriarch. There was a gentleness to him, buried under layers of restraint, that made Noah's chest ache. You deserve better than this, Elijah said finally, sliding the glass across the island. Tyler's always been a storm waiting to break, but you're not his wreckage. Noah took a sip, the burn grounding him. The words unlocked something reckless. What if I make him feel it? What if I hit back, but not with fists? Elijah raised an eyebrow, leaning against the counter, arms crossed. And how do you plan that? Noah met his gaze, heart pounding like the rain outside. By marrying you. The silence stretched, thick as fog rolling in from the bay. Elijah didn't laugh, didn't recoil. He just held Noah's eyes, searching, until a slow smile cracked the tension like dawn light. You're serious. Dead serious, Noah whispered, the bourbon loosening truth's head buried deep. I've seen how he talks about you like you're the one thing he can't control. Imagine his face. Elijah chuckled, low and rueful, but there was heat in it, a spark that mirrored Noah's own. Crazy as it sounds, it might just work. But let's be clear, this isn't just revenge. If we're doing this, we do it right. Because I see you, Noah, the man behind the bruises. They talked until the storm ebbed, plans forming like half-remembered dreams. A quick courthouse wedding in Portland, no fanfare, just witnesses from the brewery staff. Elijah's hands were steady as he traced the edge of Noah's glass, a touch that lingered, electric. By midnight, Noah crashed in the guest room, sheets smelling of lavender and linens. But sleep came fitful, dreams tangled with Tyler's rage and Elijah's quiet strength. Word spread through Haven Point like wildfire on dry pine. By noon the next day, the bookstore buzzed with whispers. Noah kept his head down, shelving romances with trembling hands, until Mrs. Whitaker from the library cornered him. Heard you're tying the knot with that Voss boy up the hill. The quiet one. Bold move, Harlan. Noah forced a smile, jaw still tender. Life's too short for safe plays. Up on Ridge Hill, Tyler exploded when Elijah told him over breakfast, the kitchen shattering under hurled plates. You're joking. That pathetic bookseller. You're throwing away everything for him. Elijah stood unmoved, coffee mug in hand. It's done, Ty. Courthouse at 3. You can come or not. Tyler lunged, but Elijah sidestepped, years of brotherly sparring making him swift. This isn't about you, Elijah said softly. It's about choosing light over your darkness. The ceremony was a blur of fluorescent lights and echoing vows. Noah in a borrowed button-down, Elijah in faded jeans and a linen shirt that hugged his frame just right. They exchanged rings, simple silver bands engraved with wave crests, and said I do with voices steady as the tide. When Tyler burst in late, face thunderous, flanked by a gawking brewery crew, the shock rippled like a stone in still water. You bastard, Tyler roared at Noah, then wheeled on Elijah. And you my own blood. This is your lesson. You'll regret it. Noah stepped forward, Elijah's hand warm in his. No, Tyler. This is mine. And it's just beginning. As they drove back to Haven Point, the coastal road winding under a clearing sky, Noah leaned his head on Elijah's shoulder. The revenge tasted sweet, but beneath it stirred something deeper, a pull like gravity. Elijah's fingers threaded through his hair, gentle, promising. "Welcome home," he murmured. But Haven Point wasn't done testing them. Old grudges simmered, and Tyler's fury was a tide that wouldn't ebb easily. The first week of marriage unfolded like a fever dream, Haven Point's salt-kissed air thick with speculation. Noah moved his things into the Voss estate bit by bit. A toothbrush here, a stack of paperbacks there. Each item a quiet claim on the sprawling house that now felt less like a museum and more like a harbor. Elijah's attic studio became their sanctuary, canvases leaning against walls like silent witnesses, the scent of turpentine mingling with fresh coffee brewed at dawn. Mornings started slow, sunlight filtering through salt-crusted panes as Elijah sketched Noah's profile in charcoal, lines capturing the curve of his neck, the faint scar above his lip from a childhood fall off the docks. "You're photogenic," Elijah would say, but his voice held a huskiness that spoke of more than art. Noah would blush, fair skin turning pink under that steady gaze, and pull him down for a kiss that tasted of possibility. Yet beneath the tenderness lurked shadows. Tyler had vanished after the wedding, holing up in Portland with a rotating cast of barflies and business deals. But his absence was a storm cloud on the horizon. Letters arrived at the bookstore and signed, scrawled with venom. "You think this fixes you? They'll bury you both." Noah burned them in the shop's tiny fireplace, ashes scattering like forgotten prayers. But the words burrowed deep, feeding doubts that whispered in the quiet hours. One evening, as autumn leaves turned the bluffs to fire, they walked the beach below Ridge Hill, boots crunching over pebbles worn smooth by relentless waves. Elijah shared fragments of his past, voice carried on the wind. Seattle was concrete and rain, he said, hands shoved in his jacket pockets. Mom died young, cancer that ate her from the inside. Dad was already gone, some affair gone wrong. I came here thinking family meant roots. Turns out it meant thorns. Noah listened, heart twisting. Elijah's stepfather, Tyler's dad, had been a hard man, whiskey-soaked and quick with a belt, molding Tyler in his image while Elijah learned to fade into walls. "You were the light he couldn't touch," Noah said, stopping to pick up a driftwood branch, twisting it like a talisman. "That's why he hates us. We're stealing his shadow." Elijah pulled him close, salt spray dampening their coats. "Let him hate. I've spent too long dimming for him." Their first real fight came unexpectedly, over dinner at the estate's long oak table, lobster bisques steaming in bowls. Noah had invited his father, Harlan Sr., a grizzled man with eyes like faded denim, hoping to bridge worlds. But old Harlan took one look at Elijah and grunted, "What's a painter know about keeping a roof overhead?" Noah's temper flared, spoon clattering. "He's more man than you ever were, Dad. Steady, not just salt and silence." The words landed like buoys in deep water, marking wounds long submerged. Harlan left early, truck rumbling down the drive, and Noah stormed to the studio, slamming the door on Elijah's concerned call. Alone he paced, guilt gnawing. His father wasn't cruel, just carved by loss, a wife taken by the sea, a son who'd always chased horizons. Noah sank onto the worn leather couch, head in hands, until Elijah entered quietly. No demands, just a blanket draped over his shoulders. "Talk to me," Elijah said, sitting cross-legged on the floor, close enough to touch but not crowding. "We're in this, remember, storms and all." Noah exhaled, the fight draining like tide. "I didn't mean it. He's all I have left of her. But you're everything now." Elijah reached up, thumb brushing Noah's cheek, wiping away a tear Noah hadn't felt fall. "Families are messy canvases. We paint over the ugly parts, layer by layer." That night, they made love for the first time, slow and exploratory, bodies mapping each other like uncharted coasts. Elijah's hands were calloused from brushes, tracing Noah's ribs with reverence, while Noah learned the rhythm of Elijah's breath, the way his back arched under moonlight slanting through the skylight. It wasn't revenge anymore. It was reclamation, skin to skin, hearts sinking like waves to shore. But Tyler returned like a squall, crashing a town hall meeting at the community center, where Haven Point debated expanding the harbor for tourist yachts. He stood at the podium, voice booming through the mic, eyes locked on Noah in the back row beside Elijah. This town's soul is in its waters, not some yuppie playground, Tyler declared, but his words twisted venomous. And while we're selling out, some folks are selling their dignity marrying for spite, dragging good names through mud. Murmurs rippled, heads turning. Noah's stomach knotted, Elijah's hand tightening on his knee under the folding table. When Tyler stepped down, he shouldered past, hissing low, "Enjoy the spotlight, brother. ITLL burn." Elijah rose, calm as slate, following Tyler into the parking lot, where sodium lamps buzzed like angry hornets. Noah trailed, heart hammering. "Face me." "Not him," Noah called, but Tyler whirled on Elijah, shoving him against a pickup truck. "You always were the favorite," Tyler spat, breath sour with beer. "Stealing my scraps." Elijah didn't flinch, grabbing Tyler's wrist in a grip forged from years of restraint. "Enough. You're drowning in your own poison, Ty. Let me throw you a line." Tyler laughed, bitter and broken, wrenching free. "Line? You mean leash? Like you've got Noah on one now." Noah stepped between them, chest heaving. "This isn't about favorites. It's about choosing not to be you." Tyler recoiled as if slapped, eyes wild, then turned and vanished into the night, taillights fading toward Portland. The drive home was silent, tension coiling like fog. At the estate, Elijah poured scotch in the library, fire crackling in the grate. "He's spiraling," Elijah said finally, staring into flames. "I should have seen it sooner. After Dad died, I left him alone with the ghosts." Noah knelt beside him, fingers lacing with Elijah's. "You can't save someone who loves the dark." They fell asleep entwined on the rug, fire dying to embers, but Noah dreamed of Tyler's face, twisted in the rain, a boy lost at sea. Days blurred into a fragile routine. Noah threw himself into the bookstore, hosting readings that drew crowds curious about the scandalous newlyweds. Elijah's paintings sold at the local gallery, seascapes infused with new warmth, blues deepening to sapphire, greens alive with undercurrents. They stole moments kayaking the bay at dusk, paddles slicing water like shared secrets, laughter echoing off cliffs. Yet cracks formed. Anonymous calls to the brewery, suppliers balking at Tyler's volatility, whispers at the market, Voss boys at each other's throats again. Noah felt the weight, guilt threading through desire. One night, after a heated argument over Tyler's latest sabotage, a delayed shipment that cost Elijah a commission, Noah lashed out. "Maybe this was a mistake. Marrying into your mess." Elijah froze in the doorway, hurt flashing like lightning. Then his voice steady. "If you believe that, walk now. But don't doubt us because of him." Noah didn't walk. Instead, he pulled Elijah close. Apologies murmured against collarbones, bodies colliding in urgent forgiveness. In the aftermath, tangled in sheets, Elijah confessed, "I fell for you before the wedding. That first night, bruised and bold. You saw me too." Noah traced the silver in Elijah's hair, heart swelling. "Saw you and stayed." Winter crept in, frost etching windows like lace, Haven Point streets dusted in first snow. They hosted a solstice party at the estate, lanterns strung along the bluff, locals thawing over mulled cider. Harlan Sr. arrived late, gruff but present, clapping Elijah on the back with a nod that spoke volumes. "Progress," he muttered to Noah. "Don't screw it." As guests milled, Tyler appeared at the edge of the crowd, uninvited, coat dusted with flakes. He watched from shadows, eyes hollow, until he approached, glass in hand. "Truce," he said to Elijah, voice slurred. "For old times." Elijah tensed but nodded. "One drink." Noah hovered nearby, pulse racing, as they talked in low tones by the fire pit. laughter, forced at first, then genuine fragments of boyhood pranks, lost summers. But when Tyler turned to Noah, smile sharpening, he leaned in. You think you won, but lessons stick. Before Noah could retort, Tyler swayed, spilling wine, and collapsed in a heap, bottle rolling into snow. Panic surged, guests scattering as Elijah knelt, checking pulse. Hell be fine, he said, but his eyes betrayed fear. Get the truck. At the ER in Portland, doctors confirmed overdose pills washed with booze. Tyler woke groggy, vitals stable, but his gaze on Elijah was shattered glass. Why do you care? He rasped. Because your family, Elijah replied, voice cracking. Even when it hurts. Noah waited in the hall, walls closing in, the marriage feeling suddenly like a raft in rapids. When Elijah emerged, exhausted, they drove home in silence, snow falling thicker. At the estate, Elijah broke. I can't lose him, not like this. He's all I have left of us. Noah pulled over on the bluff, engine ticking. And me, am I enough? Elijah turned, eyes fierce. More than, but blood pulls hard. They made it through that night, bodies seeking solace, but dawn brought resolve. Elijah would stage an intervention, call in Tyler's old therapist from Portland. Noah supported, but doubt lingered, a tide eroding shore. Spring hinted at thaw, crocuses pushing through frost, when betrayal struck. A letter arrived at the bookstore, envelope crisp, addressed in elegant script. Inside, photos Noah and Elijah on the beach, intimate, stolen. Accompanying note, from a friend who knows better. End it before he destroys you both. Signed, a well-wisher. Noah recognized the handwriting. Eleanor's, Elijah's ex from Seattle, a painter who'd visited last fall under guise of collaboration. Shed eyed them with cool disdain, but this was poison. Confronting Elijah that evening, photos splayed on the kitchen island. Noah's voice trembled. Was it her? Did you tell her everything? Elijah paled, hands gripping the counter. I trusted her. God, Noah, I didn't think. Trust. The word hung, fragile. Noah stormed out, driving to his father's cabin on the outskirts, waves crashing below like accusations. Harlan found him there at midnight, staring at the sea. Love ain't easy, son, but running ain't living. By morning, Noah returned, finding Elijah on the porch, hollow-eyed. I ended it with her years ago, Elijah said, but the damage, she's my fault. No, Noah replied, taking his hand. Ours to fix. They traced the leak to Tyler, who'd fed Eleanor the intel in a drunken call, spite birthing sabotage. The revelation gutted Elijah, brother against brother, but it forged them tighter. No more secrets, they vowed, rings glinting in sunlight. Summer swelled, heat shimmering off the bay, and their love deepened roots. Picnics on the bluff, Elijah sketching Noah asleep in wild grass, Noah reading poetry aloud, verses weaving through salt air. Haven Point softened, gossip fading to acceptance, even Harlan joining Sunday suppers, stories flowing like ale. But Tyler loomed, recovery a jagged path, therapy sessions in Portland yielding fragile progress. One August evening, he showed at the estate unannounced, sober, eyes clear for the first time in months. I was wrong, he said to Noah, voice raw. The lesson was mine. Forgiveness wasn't easy, but Noah offered it, hand extended. Water under the bridge. As Tyler left, Elijah pulled Noah close, whispering, "You're my anchor." Yet fate twisted again. A call from Portland Hospital. Tyler, relapse, coma. The brothers rushed, Noah driving through pouring rain, heart in throat. At the bedside, machines beeping like accusations, Elijah broke, head bowed. I should have fought harder. Noah held him, tears mingling. You did. Now we wait. Vigil stretched days, Haven Point holding breath. Tyler woke weak, whispering apologies. A man remade in fire. Elijah forgave, blood mending slow. Through it, Noah and Elijah's bond tempered steel. Love not just spark but forge. Autumn painted Haven Point in strokes of amber and crimson. Leaves carpeting the bluffs like a lover's discarded veil. Noah and Elijah's marriage had settled into a rhythm as steady as the tides, but beneath the surface currents pulled, testing the depths of what they'd built. The bookstore thrived with fall readings, locals crowding in for ghost stories that mirrored their own haunts, while Elijah's gallery show in Portland drew acclaim. His canvases now alive with dual figures intertwined against stormy seas, symbols of resilience that sold for sums that made Noah whistle. Yet Tyler's shadow lingered, a fragile truce holding by threads. Head moved into a small apartment above the brewery, managing operations with a newfound caution. Therapy notes scribbled in margins of ledgers. Visits to the estate were tentative Sunday brunches where laughter came halting, like boats testing ice. Tyler would eye Noah with a mix of resentment and reluctant respect, once muttering over coffee, "You're good for him. Better than I ever was for anyone." Noah nodded, scars fading but present. We're all works in progress. One crisp October morning, as mist clung to the harbor, Noah found a package on the bookstore doorstep, no return address, wrapped in brown paper. Inside lay a leather-bound journal, pages filled with Elijah's youthful scrawl poems from Seattle days, raw with longing and loss. Tucked between was a letter in Eleanor's hand. "He never got over me. This proves it. Leave while you can." Doubt slithered in, cold as autumn fog. Noah pocketed the journal, heart pounding, and drove to the estate, confronting Elijah in the studio amid drying canvases. "Is this true? Were you still hers when we—" Elijah set down his brush, paint-smeared hands stilling. "The journal. God, I thought I'd burned it. She must have taken it during that visit. Noah, it was years ago. Ghosts, not chains." But the words blurred with old hurts, Noah's voice cracking. "I need to know I'm not second." Elijah crossed the room in 2 strides, cupping Noah's face, thumbs tracing jawlines now free of bruises. "Your first light after endless night. Believe that." They burned the journal that evening in the bluff fire pit, flames devouring ink and memory, Eleanor's poison reduced to ash. But the incident unearthed deeper fears Noah's own. Rooted in childhood tales of his mother's abandonment, a boat lost at sea that never returned. In bed that night, Elijah held him through tears, murmuring, "I'm here. Solid ground." Winter's grip tightened, snow blanketing Haven Point in hush, holiday lights twinkling like defiant stars. They hosted a tree trimming at the estate, Harlan Sr. hauling in a massive pine from the family lot, grumbling but grinning as he strung garlands. Tyler arrived with a bottle of aged scotch, gift for Elijah, and for the first time a real toast to new chapters. Noah watched them, brothers bridged by fragile peace, and felt the stir of something profound, forgiveness not just given, but earned. Later, under mistletoe in the foyer, Elijah kissed him slow, whispering, "You make miracles." But miracles cracked under pressure. January brought a nor'easter, winds howling like banshees, power lines snapping in the gale. The estate went dark, generator humming to life, but the brewery flooded, equipment ruined. Tyler called at midnight, voice frayed. "Lost everything. Need help." Elijah rose without hesitation, pulling on boots. "I'll go." Noah grabbed his arm, rain lashing windows. "Hell drag you down again." "Trust me," Elijah said, eyes pleading. "He's family." The drive was treacherous, roads icing over, Noah insisting on coming, shotgun in the cab. At the brewery, water surged ankle deep, Tyler wading through debris, face streaked with mud and defeat. Together they salvaged what they could, pumps whirring. Boxes stacked, but dawn revealed the toll. Thousands in damage, insurance a labyrinth. Back home, Exhausted, Elijah collapsed on the couch, Noah drawing a bath scented with pine. As steam rose, Elijah confessed he blamed me tonight, said if I'd stayed, this wouldn't happen. Noah knelt by the tub, water lapping. And you? Forgave him. Again. Elijah's laugh was hollow. Fool's habit. No, Noah said fiercely. Saint's grace. February thawed edges, Valentine's snow melting to rivulets, and Noah planned a surprise weekend in Portland. Escape from small-town stares. They checked into a boutique hotel overlooking the Willamette. Room with a clawfoot tub and skyline views. Dinner at a waterfront bistro. Candlelight dancing on oysters and whispers. Back in bed, sheets crisp as fresh canvas. They explored anew. Elijah's mouth tracing collarbones. Noah's fingers digging into hips. Cries muffled by pillows. It was worship, bodies hymns to survival. But Portland stirred ghosts. Walking the Pearl District, arm in arm, they passed Eleanor's gallery, window display of abstract storms. She spotted them from inside, emerging with a smile sharp as shattered glass. Elijah. And the husband. Charming. Elijah stiffened, but Noah stepped forward, voice even. Eleanor. Her eyes narrowed, then she laughed, brittle.
Touché.
But truth's surface, darling. Like oil on water. She vanished inside, but the encounter soured the night, doubt resurfacing. In the hotel bar later, over gin and tonics, Elijah opened up. She was my escape after Mom. Passionate but poisonous. Left when I wouldn't chase. Noah squeezed his hand. And now? Now you. Elijah's gaze held steady, anchor and all. Spring bloomed tentative, daffodils nodding along Elm Street, Haven Point's harbor alive with returning lobstermen. Noah's father fell ill, pneumonia gripping his lungs like an old grudge, and the estate became a hub of care. Soups simmering, Elijah reading aloud from harborside stock. Tyler visited daily, bringing fresh bread from a temporary bakery gig, his presence a quiet atonement. One afternoon, as Harlan dozed, Tyler pulled Noah aside in the garden. Shears pruning roses. I owe you, he said, voice low, for not letting me sink him. Noah nodded, thorns pricking fingers. We all sink sometimes. The pull is getting back up. Tyler's eyes glistened. First crack in armor.
Yeah.
Harlan rallied, discharged with gruff thanks and a promise of fishing trips. The scare bound them tighter, Noah realizing family wasn't blood alone, but chosen tides. Yet betrayal brewed anew. Brewery suppliers, spooked by rumors of Tyler's instability, pulled contracts, forcing layoffs. Fingers pointed at Tyler, but evidence surfaced: emails from an anonymous account, sabotage traced to Eleanor's IP in Seattle. Shed hacked Tyler's system during a visit, planting seeds of chaos to fracture the brothers anew. Confrontation came via video call, Elijah's laptop screen glowing in the library. You're done, Eleanor, he said, voice steel. This ends. Her face twisted, beauty cracking. He was mine first. You stole him with your pity marriage. Noah leaned in, unyielding. He chose himself. And me. She disconnected, but repercussions rippled: legal filings for harassment, gallery whispers turning to boycott. Elijah's show suffered cancellations, income drying like tidal pools. In the fallout, Noah held Elijah through rage and grief. Nights spent on the widow's walk, stars in different witnesses. You're stronger than this, Noah murmured, wind whipping. We are. Summer scorched in, heat waves shimmering off the bay, tourists flocking to Haven Point's festivals. They escaped to the cabin, Harlan lending it for a week of solitude. Days swimming naked in coves, nights under quilts, stories shared by lantern light. Elijah painted Noah there, body arched against weathered beams, title, reclamation. But idyll shattered with a call from Portland PD. Eleanor arrested, confession spilling, Tyler targeted, because he symbolized Elijah's escape. Shed stalked for years, obsession festering. Relief mingled with sorrow, Elijah visiting her in custody. Closure in a sterile room. I forgive you, he said, but goodbye. Back in Haven Point, peace settled tentative. Tyler proposed a joint venture brewery expansion with Elijah's art label, brothers collaborating, past alchemized to future. Noah watched from the bookstore window as they signed papers at the diner, hearts swelling. Love wasn't absence of storm, but dancing in rain. Yet high tide approached, a letter from Tyler's therapist. Progress stalled. Relapse risk high. Elijah wrestled, duty pulling against life built. One stormy night, thunder rumbling like old gods, Tyler showed unannounced, rain-soaked, eyes wild. I can't do this alone, he begged Elijah. Come back. Help me. Elijah glanced at Noah, torn. Just tonight. Noah nodded, throat tight. Go. But come home. Hours stretched, worry gnawing, until dawn broke with sirens. Tyler, attempt 2 pills in the brewery office. Elijah found him, called help, hands steady but soul fracturing. At the hospital, as Tyler stabilized, Elijah collapsed in the waiting room, sobs racking. I failed him. Noah enveloped him, fierce. You saved him. Again. Recovery stretched summer into fall, Tyler entering inpatient rehab in Boston. Letters arriving, weekly progress reports laced with gratitude. The estate echoed emptier, but Noah and Elijah filled it with intention. Date nights at the drive-in. Plays in Portland, hands clasped in dark theaters. Harlan noticed, clapping Noah's shoulder one crisp evening. You found your sea legs, son. Gratitude swelled, Noah hugging his father tight. With the right captain. As leaves turned, Elijah's new series debuted. Reclamation 2, figures emerging from tempests, sold-out opening. Critics praised the emotional depth, whispers of Noah's influence. But beneath triumph, quiet fears. What if Tyler never heals? What if we break under weight? Noah silenced them with touch, bodies affirming in the studio, paint smearing skin like war paint. We're unbreakable, he breathed. Winter whispered in, first flurries dancing, and Haven Point prepared for holidays. Invitations went out inclusive. Tyler invited post-rehab, tentative bridge. Yet on the eve of the party, a package arrived anonymous, contents chilling. Divorce papers, forged Elijah's signature, mailed to county clerk. Sabotage, traced to a disgruntled ex-employee, Tyler's old enabler, seeking payback. Fury and fear collided, Elijah raging in the garage, tools clattering. They're picking at seams. Noah pulled him close, rain pattering roof. Then we stitched tighter. Legal scramble ensued, signatures verified, papers voided, but trust bruised. Nights grew watchful, love a vigilant flame. Spring renewal brought Tyler's return, leaner, clearer-eyed, rehab badge pinned like metal. First dinner at the estate, awkward toasts evolving to stories, laughter genuine. Noah raised glass, to lessons learned. Tyler met his eyes, and taught. As blossoms burst, their bond deepened, anniversaries marked with rings renewed, vows whispered on bluffs. But high tide crested, Eleanor's trial looming, subpoena for Elijah as witness. The courtroom in Portland was sterile chill, wood paneling echoing accusations. Eleanor, composed in navy suit, testified obsession born of love. Elijah her muse stolen. Cross-examination peeled layers, her gaze on Elijah pleading, broken. He testified truth, voice steady, you were storm. I chose calm. Verdict, guilty, restraining order ironclad. Outside, rain fell, Elijah exhaling years' weight. Free. Noah kissed him in parking lot, salt mingling with rain. Always were. Summer sealed healing, family picnic on beach, Harlan grilling lobsters, Tyler sketching with Elijah, brothers in brushstrokes. Noah watched, heart full, love not fairy tale but forged. Yet climax brewed, Tyler's sponsor warning backslide triggers. One night, brewery party for expansion, crowds toasting, Tyler cornered by old demons, flask hidden. Elijah noticed, intervening quiet. Not tonight. Tyler shoved, voice rising. You don't own me. Noah pulled Tyler aside, words firm. No one does, but we choose who holds the rope. Tyler deflated, flask crushed under boot. Help me choose better. Dawn found them salvaging, bond reforged. Through it, Noah and Elijah's love anchored, depths plumbed, surfaces calm. The summer of their second year married unfolded like a canvas stretched taut, Haven Point's sun-baked streets pulsing with festivals and fleeting tourists. But for Noah and Elijah, it was a season of subtle reckonings. The brewery expansion broke ground, a gleaming addition to the estate funded by Elijah's gallery windfall and Tyler's sober grit, symbol of mended fractures. Noah's bookstore hosted author signings that drew lines down Elm Street, his own short stories finding quiet publication in local lit mags, tales of coastal ghosts and hidden hearts that mirrored their journey. Mornings began with coffee on the widow's walk, Elijah's arm around Noah's waist, horizons stretching endless. You taste like home, Elijah would murmur, nuzzling his neck, and Noah would laugh, shoving him playfully toward the studio. But intimacy deepened, explorations lazy and profound, bodies knowing each other like well-worn paths, every scar a map point. Tyler's rehab glow held, group meetings in Portland becoming routine, his apartment above the brewery a space of stark renewal, bare walls hung with Elijah's prints, a single photo of the three brothers on the bluff from boyhood. Dinners at the estate evolved to easy banter, Tyler teasing Noah about his latest plot twist, Noah ribbing Tyler over his abysmal karaoke at the harborside bar. Progress, tangible as calluses shed. Yet undercurrents stirred. Harlan's health wavered again, a cough lingering like fog, doctors ordering scans that loomed like storm fronts. Noah drove him to appointments, hands white-knuckled on the wheel, Elijah waiting with dinners and quiet support. One evening, results clear but cautionary, Harlan gripped Noah's arm in the hospital lot. Don't waste breath on worry, son. Live fierce. Noah nodded, throat tight, hugging his father longer than usual. I am. Spring had seeded doubts anew, but summer harvested growth. Eleanor faded to legal footnotes, her restraining order a paper shield. But her echo lingered in nightmares, Noah waking sweat damp, Elijah soothing with stories of Seattle sunrises, painting peace over panic. One July weekend, they escaped to Acadia, national park trails winding through granite and pine, backpacks heavy with sandwiches and secrets. Hiking Cadillac Mountain at dawn, first light gilding the world. Elijah proposed a vow renewal not grand, but raw on the summit, rings exchanged amid wind-whipped hair. I choose you, every tide, he said, voice carrying over valleys. Noah, tears blurring peaks, replied, and I you, anchor of my chaos. Picnics followed, lobster rolls devoured on rocky shores, swims in chill Atlantic that left them gasping, laughing, alive. Nights in a tent under stars, bodies entwined against Earth's pulse, love a wildfire banked but eternal. Back in Haven Point, the renewal rippled, locals toasting at the diner, even Mrs. Whitaker slipping Noah a dog-eared romance with a wink. You two set the bar high. But bars lowered under strain. August heat wave baked the bay. Tourism booming but tensions flaring, brewery staff grumbling over long hours, Tyler pushing too hard to prove worth. One sweltering afternoon, a supplier spat in the warehouse, fists flying, Tyler taking a haymaker to the ribs that cracked bone. Elijah got the call at the gallery, dropping brushes to rush, Noah closing shop early to meet him at the ER. Tyler lay pale, hooked to monitors, muttering apologies through pain meds. Pushed too far, he rasped. Wanted to show I could. Elijah stroked his hair, brotherly soft. You don't have to prove. Just be. Noah paced the hall, fetching coffee, heart aching for the man who'd once been monster. When Tyler slept, Elijah joined him, collapsing into plastic chair. He's fragile as sea glass now. Noah knelt, hands on knees. So are we all. That's why we hold on. Recovery sidelined Tyler. Elijah stepping in for brewery ops. Dawn patrols of fermenters leaving him bone-tired. Noah shouldered home front. Dinners from freezer meals. Massages by firelight that turned tender, sustaining. September cooled air. Harvest moon rising fat over bluffs. And Tyler mended slow. Physical therapy in the estate gym. Noah spotting awkward lifts. Thanks, Tyler said one day, sweat slick, dropping barbell. For not writing me off. Noah grinned, handing towel. Wouldn't dream. You're family now. The word landed soft but true, boundaries blurred to inclusion. Fall deepened colors. Foliage tours drawing leaf peepers. Haven Point aglow. Noah's first anthology reading at the community center packed pews. Elijah in front row beaming. Tyler beside clapping loudest. Post-reading. Beers at the bar. Toasts to words and wounds healed. But betrayal slunk in shadows. Anonymous blog posts surfaced. Haven Point gossip mill. Dredging wedding drama. Eleanor's trial. Tyler's relapses painting them as soap opera villains. Comments venomous. Voss curse strikes again. Run, bookstore boy. Noah discovered it pre-dawn. Laptop glow harsh, stomach churning. Elijah found him there, scrolling endless. Who? He growled. Traced to a burner account. But whispers pointed to a brewery hand. Bitter over layoff. Eleanor's distant cousin sniffing for scandal. Confrontation at the warehouse. Elijah firing swift. But damage viral. Tourists canceling tastings. Nights grew tense. Love a refuge but frayed. One storm-lashed evening. Argument erupted over dinner. Noah accusing Elijah of naivete. You trust too easy. This town's teeth are sharp. Elijah slammed fork. And you're building walls. We face it together, not you against world. Silence thick. Noah storming to guest room. Door clicking shut. Regret immediate but pride held till midnight. Elijah slipping in, apology in eyes. I'm scared, he admitted, sliding under covers. Of losing this us. Noah turned, pulling close. Me too. But walls crumble. Let's build bridges. Reconciliation slow burn. Touches tentative to fervent. Bodies reaffirming vows. Winter nipped heels. First freeze glazing harbor. Holiday prep a bomb. Tree lighting on the green. Elijah and Noah stringing bulbs. Tyler hauling wreaths. Harlan narrating with dry wit. Party at estate grandeur. Inclusive. Even Portland friends arriving. Laughter echoing halls. But mid-fest, Tyler pulled Elijah aside. Voice low. Sponsor says I'm ready for step 9 amends. Starting with you. Elijah hugged him, fierce, proud. Noah watched, heart swelling, but later, alone on porch, snow falling soft, doubt whispered. How long till next wave? Elijah joined, cocoa steaming, cold. Noah leaned in, warmer now. Spring unfurled gentle, tulips nodding, and Tyler's amends tour began letters to old flames. Calls to estranged kin, each a stone lifted. Brewery rebounded. New hires loyal. Expansion ribbon cutting with town brass. Noah and Elijah celebrated with a getaway to Bar Harbor, whale watches and bookstore browses, hands linked in quaint streets. In a B&B overlooking bay, they dreamed future's kids, maybe, adoption whispers or just endless us. Yet climax brewed distant. News from Seattle. Eleanor's appeal denied, But a manifesto leaked online, rants against Elijah, veiled threats to Haven Point Idol. Elijah read it stone-faced, then deleted. She's caged. We're free. Noah nodded but installed cameras, vigilance quiet. Summer returned humid, festivals in swing, and family outing to the county fair, blueberry pies and Ferris wheels. Tyler winning Noah a stuffed lobster at ring toss, laughter pure. But night of the harvest dance, under strung lights, Tyler confessed over punch. Seeing you too, it's what I want. Someday, a real shot at love. Noah clapped shoulder. Deserve it. Who's the lucky one? Tyler smiled shy, first genuine. Working on it. Heart light, Noah danced with Elijah. Slow sway to country croon. World narrowing to heartbeat. Fall harvest brought bounty, corn mazes and cider presses. Harlan healthier, joining lobster bakes on beach. Stories around fire, Tyler's tales of rehab humor, Elijah's Seattle yarns, Noah's plots weaving in. But high watermark, brewery investor pulled, citing gossip mill residue, funds teetering. Panic meeting in kitchen, maps and ledgers splayed, Elijah pacing. We lose this, it's all for naught. Tyler, calm. Crowd fund. Town'll back us. Noah volunteered copy, social posts viral, pledges pouring locals, ex-tourists, even Eleanor Hader turned fan. Goal hit in days. Party launch with live music. Haven Point united. Through crunch, love sustained late nights plotting, quick kisses amid chaos, Elijah sketching investor pitch on napkins, Noah proofreading till dawn. Winter solstice glowed, Yule log burning, and renewal vows private on bluff, snow blanketing, words sacred. I choose you, Elijah said. Always, Noah echoed. Spring healed final scars, therapy group for Noah starting, unpacking Tyler blows, maternal loss. Elijah attended one, hand in his witness to unraveling. Tyler's first date announced shyly over brunch, a barista from Portland, eyes lighting. Joy communal, toasts raised. Summer sealed, beach day all in, volleyball and bonfires, bonds iron. But crest, Tyler's sponsor emergency, backslide scare, but caught early, group hug in park. Elijah wept relief, Noah held firm. We're the net. Love through trials diamond hard. As their third autumn in Haven Point crested, the world Noah and Elijah had stitched from tatters began to feel like heirloom fabric, sturdy, patterned with memory. The brewery hummed with innovation. Seasonal Alesh named for tide's reclamation red, Anchor Amber drawing acclaim beyond Maine. Tyler at the helm with a steadiness that bordered on grace. Noah's writing bloomed, a novel in progress shelved in the studio. Chapters read aloud to Elijah on rainy evenings. Feedback gentle as sea mist. Harborside pages expanded. A coffee bar added. Nook for local poets that became a haven within a haven. Daily life wove intimacy seamless. Elijah's sketches pinned to fridge. Noah's playlists shuffling folk tunes during chores. Lovemaking evolved poetic. Mornings lazy in sun-dappled sheets. Afternoons stolen in the kayak cove. Water lapping as rhythm. You're my muse, Elijah would breathe, fingers painting trails on skin, and Noah would arch, whispering, and you're my story. Tyler's life paralleled, the barista Ben evolving to boyfriend, quiet dinners at the apartment shared with Elijah's art. Amends continued, step 10 vigilance against old patterns, group shares laced with humor. One crisp October hike, brothers and Noah cresting bluff. Tyler paused, wind tousling hair. Never thought I'd say it, but thanks for the hard love. Elijah ruffled his hair, boyish. Earned it. Noah grinned, camera snapping candid. Frame it. Winter wrapped gentle. Holidays a tapestry of traditions old and new. Tree from Harlan's lot. Ornaments hand-painted by Tyler in rehab art therapy. Party inclusive with Ben's family zooming in from Boston. Laughter flowed, eggnog spiked just right, and as midnight tolled, Elijah pulled Noah to the porch, snowflakes catching lashes. 3 years, he murmured, kissing slow. Feels like forever began yesterday. Noah melted in, heart full. Best plot twist. But beneath joy, Fishers hinted. Harlan's cough returned persistent. Scans scheduled. Shadow of last scare. Noah drove him again. Elijah prepping meals nutrient-dense. Worry a undercurrent. Clear again, Doc said, but lifestyle change or else. Harlan grumbled over stew. Ain't going gentle. Noah squeezed hand. Won't let you. Spring quickened pulse, forsythia blazing, and Tyler's relationship deepened. Ben relocating part-time. Apartment buzzing with double occupancy. Double date at Portland Theater. Musical of lost loves reclaimed. Post-show drinks dissecting lyrics. Bonds cross-pollinating. Noah confided in Ben over IPA's writer's block gnawing. Feels like the story's dried up. Ben, artist too, leaned in. Dig deeper. What's the fear under? Elijah, overhearing later in truck, prompted gently. What's haunting the pages? Noah exhaled, stars streaking. Ending it right, after all the storms. Elijah parked on overlook, engine off. Ours doesn't end. It evolves. Words unlocked flood. Novel surging. Chapters of redemption. Love as horizon. Summer sizzled. Beach days ritual, volleyball nets strung. Coolers iced. Tyler and Ben joined. Dynamics easy. Noah teasing Tyler over sunscreen slather. Whipped already. Tyler laughed, arm around Ben. Best kind. Elijah and Noah snorkeled shallows. Fish darting like secrets. Surfacing to kisses tasting of salt. Vacation planned. Road trip to Seattle, Eleanor's old haunt. Reclaiming for joy. Drive west. Cascades rising. Rainforests dripping emerald. Hotel in Pike Place. Markets bustling with fish tosses and flower stalls. Elijah tensed at first sights, but Noah anchored, hand in hand through markets. Lavender sachets bought for the estate. Gallery crawl, Elijah critiquing abstracts, Noah photographing for blog. Night in room overlooking sound. Elijah opened. Thought this place would choke. But with you, it's breath. Noah traced tattoos faded from youth. Rewrite the map. Hike to lighthouse next day. Cliffs sheer. Waves pounding below. At overlook, Elijah sketched rapid. Noah posing dramatic. Wind hero. Picnic of salmon and berries. Stories of futures plural. Expansion to Seattle pop-up. Noah's book tour. Return East Golden. Tanned and tangled. Love recharged. Fall Harvest Festival crowned. Pies judged. Tyler and Ben entering Blueberry Tart. Winning blue ribbon. Celebration at fairgrounds. Ferris wheel spins. Cotton candy sticky kisses. But under lights, anonymous notes slipped to Noah. Watch your back. Old lessons unlearned. Handwriting familiar Eleanor's, but postmark Portland. Restraining order breached. Police involved. Investigation swift, but source a copycat ex-employee. Obsessed fan of her trial coverage. Arrest quiet, but ripple unease. Nights watchful, Elijah installing alarms, Noah journaling fears. Dreams of fists and fog, waking to Elijah's hold. Well weather, he soothes. Harlan's health dipped again, hospitalization for flare, pneumonia stubborn. Vigil at bedside, family rotating, Tyler bringing comics. Ben soup. Elijah read aloud from Noah's manuscript, voice steadying room. Rally slow, discharge with oxygen tank, home care arranged. Noah moved in temporarily, estate shuttles, Elijah adapting studio to guest space. Strain showed arguments over care schedules, Noah snapping, you're pulling away. Elijah, exhausted, you're everywhere but here. Reconciliation in kitchen dawn, apologies over bacon, touch healing. We're stretched, Noah admitted, but elastic. Winter solstice brought renewal, small ceremony bluffside, Harlan presiding gruff vows. Tyler best man, Ben maid of honor jest, rings exchanged anew. Party intimate, fire pit crackling, songs strummed. Toast from Tyler, to storms past, and those we danced through. Spring bloomed resilient, Harlan's tank ditched, walks with Noah strengthening. Tyler's brewery hit milestone 1000th barrel, party with live band, town turning out. Noah read novel excerpt, crowd hushed, Elijah eyes proud. Post-reading, publisher scout approached contract offer, world widening. But widening bred tension. Seattle pop-up planned, Elijah torn Ben encouraging, Tyler wary. You're needed here, he said over beers. Elijah clapped back. And there, growth ain't betrayal. Noah mediated, heart split. We go together. Decision made, trip dual-purpose tour and launch. Summer roadshow kicked, pop-up buzzing, sales soaring, media bites on Brothers Brewery backstory. Nights in hotel, Elijah and Noah celebrating skin to skin, city lights witness. Return triumphant, but jet lag and backlog clashed. Elijah snapping over spilled paint. Noah retreating to bookstore, space needed. Cool-off walk on beach, waves lapping apologies. Miss you in chaos, Elijah said. Noah linked arms. Balance beam, not tightrope. Fall steadied, novel deal signed, edits marathon, Elijah beta reader chief. Tyler's relationship hit milestone anniversary, proposal whisper, rings shopped covert. Joy shared, planning double wedding jest but real, backyard affair next summer. Winter whisper, holidays heartfelt, Harlan toasting Noah's success. Book out spring, signings booked. But crest loomed. Ben discovered lump, tests pending, shadow over joy. Support rallied, appointments attended, results benign cyst, relief title. Through scare, bonds iron, Tyler proposing formally bluff at dawn, Elijah best man true. Spring wedding bloomed, garden vows under arbors, Noah officiant, words weaving, tears and toasts, dance floor alive. Noah and Elijah slipped away post-ceremony, kayaks to cove, stars emerging. They did it, Noah said. We will, Elijah replied, hand over heart. Summer sealed, book launch packed, reviews raving emotional depth. Tour coastal, Elijah joining segments, love road companion. But high drama, old Voss creditor surfaced, debt from father's era, lawsuit threat. Meeting lawyers tense, assets frozen potential. Tyler pale, I thought it buried. Elijah fierce, dig it up, fight. Crowdfund again, town loyal, settlement reached fair. Through siege, Noah's words anchored, chapters of their saga fueling resolve. Fall harvest gratitude, feast all in, stories of battles won. Winter closed year, solstice fire, vows eternal. Love, refined fire, eternal flame. The fourth cycle through Haven Point seasons etched their story deeper into the land's very grain, like roots burrowing through granite to find water. Noah's novel, Tides of Us, flew off shelves from Bangor to Boston. Readings packed with locals who saw slivers of themselves in the pages, lovers defying currents, brothers bridging chasms. The bookstore became pilgrimage site, author events spilling onto sidewalks, Elijah beaming from the wings, his own monograph in works, canvases chronicling their odyssey. Tyler's brewery expanded to a Portland taproom, Ben co-managing with quiet competence. Their marriage a year strong, home above the original estate, a nest of shared dreams. Life pulsed with earned ease. Mornings collaborative, Noah drafting at the kitchen island while Elijah sketched beside, Coffee steaming, touches casual as breath. Intimacy a constant tide high and low. Explorations inventive moonlit bluff picnics turning ardent. Studio sessions where paint became second skin. Bodies art in motion. You're my endless draft, Noah would tease. Fingers in Elijah's hair, and Elijah would pull him down, murmuring, edit later. Tyler's sobriety marked 4 years. Anniversaries low-key bonfires with sponsees. Ben toasting resilience. Family dinners weekly. Harlan patriarch presiding. Tales embellished. Laughter the glue. One spring evening, as cherry blossoms drifted, Tyler announced expansion to Seattle. Ben's roots. Pop up with Elijah's label. Full circle, he said, eyes on brother. You in? Elijah grinned, clinking glasses. Wouldn't miss rewriting that map. Noah's heart swelled. Pride for the man who'd risen from wreckage. Yet cycles turn, trials inevitable. Harlan's health faltered final time. Cancer whisper turning roar. Diagnosis pancreatic. Months at best. The estate transformed hospice wing. Noah's manuscript set aside for vigils. Elijah's brushes idle. Tyler's brewery runs delivering meals. Harlan faced it blunt, no sugar. Lived full, he rasped from bed. Regrets few. You boys my legacy. Noah held his hand, voice breaking. Teach us one more lesson. Harlan's grip tightened, eyes sharp. Love without ledger. Forgive the falls. Passing came quiet, dawn light slanting through blinds. Family gathered, Harlan slipping with a sigh. Funeral on bluff, casket pine from his lot. Eulogies raw. Noah's words from novel. Elijah's sketch atop. Tyler toasting with Harlan's favorite ale. Grief wave crashed, but buoyed by memory. Summer mourned slow. Ashes scattered at sea from family boat. Waves claiming gentle. Noah and Elijah retreated to cabin weeks. Walks silent to loquacious. Processing loss in shared silence. Bodies comfort in nights star-pricked. Therapy joint. Unpacking paternal voids. Elijah's stepdad ghosts. Noah's maternal sea void. Sessions unearthed, healed. Love deeper for vulnerabilities bared. Tyler's Seattle launch coincided. Distraction needed. All traveling west. Pop-up thrived. Media on redemption arc. Ben beaming host. Nights in Soundview Suite. Noah and Elijah reclaiming city. Walks to old haunts. Eleanor's gallery shuttered. Closure tangible. One rainy afternoon, Elijah paused at childhood park. Swing creaking empty. Here I learned to fly, he said, and fall. Noah pushed gentle arc. Catch yourself now. Return east autumnal. Harvest muted but healing. Community bake sale for Harlan's scholarship. Funds for young writers artists. Noah keynote. Voice steady tribute. Winter wrapped wounds. Holidays small tree. Ornaments evoking Harlan. Toasts to absent. Solstice renewal intimate. Bluff vows whispered. Snow veiling world. You're my horizon, Elijah said. Ring cool on finger. Noah kissed palm. Endless sea. Spring green tentative. Novel sequel brewing. Elijah's monograph accepted publisher. Tyler's taproom hit stride. Ben pregnant announcement quiet dinner. Joy ripple family expanding. Noah and Elijah discussed own futures. Adoption seed planted. Paperwork mountains but hearts fertile. Summer festival peak. Book fair with signing tent. Elijah demo painting. Tyler pouring samples. Ben glowing bump. Laughter peak, but undercurrent. Anonymous email to Noah. Subject old lessons. Attachment photos wedding day. Doctored bruises fresh. Source. Cult fringe. Eleanor's online acolytes. Manifesto echoes. Police traced, arrests Portland, but threat chilled. Security up, but resolve steel. Elijah, they can't touch this. Fall deepen resolve. Therapy fortifying. Love shield. Sequel draft surged. Chapters of legacy. Lost transmuted art. Winter solstice grand. Extended family Ben's kin visiting. baby shower weave, future bright. But apex. Tyler's relapse scare, stress from expansion, flask found empty, confrontation kitchen dawn, Ben weeping, Elijah steady. We rebuild. Rehab voluntary, short stint, emergence stronger, amends to Ben profound. Noah supported, novel dedication. To brothers, blood and chosen. Spring birth, nephew arrival, naming Harlan Canvas, estate christening party, tiny fists gripping fingers. Noah held Elijah's hand, watching, our turn soon. Summer sealed, adoption home study passed, match found boy from foster 6, eyes wide world. Fall integration gentle, home renamed haven, family swelling. Winter welcomed, holidays boisterous, little Harlan toddling, laughter echo. Through all, Noah and Elijah's love pinnacle, not end but continuum, compassion compass, freedom flight, identity indelible. In quiet moments, bluff sunset, Noah leaned on Elijah, best shock we ever pulled. Elijah smiled, arms secure, lessons learned, love eternal.